So stressful.
45.
Looks like Tom Duncan.
Sounds like must be a duck.
Jersey girls are the best.
Yeah.
What?
The bunny ears are back. We have no bunny ears today, Madison. No bunny ears.
I just took the picture down over here
I'm very sad.
specifically for you.
Bunny ears made me happy, Maddie. Just FYI,
Welcome back.
a little joy in Fobby's life. Is that so bad?
No,
Seriously. Well, you can do the bunny ears again for me?
I have a bun today.
Oh my god.
You've gone from bunny ears to buns. Okay, listen, guys. We are back for another round of the Real Realtors of New Jersey. You know what time it is. These guys are going to break it down Jersey style. What's going on in the housing market, what's going on in the mortgage market, and then what's going on in the lives of the Jersey realtors, right? Because let's start off with the most like dramatic news that I'm going to get out of this episode, right? Like there's a pink elephant in this show right now, right? That we got to address. I just want to get it over with. Like it's very cathartic, okay? So I'm just going to say it. Madison left her company and joined a new company.
Oh, I was not expecting that to be the way up.
Me either.
Right, Maddie? So you are no longer with Annie Mac. You're not
No
with Cross
longer with
Country,
Annie
right?
Crossed over to cross country.
Right. And you're having some IT problems and they can't get your computer right, but it's okay. We'll deal with it.
We got a new one shipped upstairs, so if my screen goes black, it's because I didn't
All right.
get everything up and
All right.
running.
So let's get real here, right? We have two realtors with us, Maddie. You want to announce them since they're your buddies?
I will. We got Gina and Kristina. I feel like it just flows.
Yeah.
So we have Gina Scodella with Keller Williams. She's
Hi.
representing the South Jersey region.
From the
And
south
then-
side.
Yeah.
South side, or as we like to call it, down the shore, DTS.
Understood.
A lot of people are going to be heading that way in the next week. So this is like the season where everyone pretends to become South Jerseyans for the next few weeks. And then we have Kristina Hajhassan from Remax in the north side of the
Right.
state.
And I know my Jersey facts, as we were talking before the show. There is no such thing as Central Jersey. Definitely
Nothing I'm
no
aware
Western
of.
Jersey. No Western Jersey.
No way.
Right? So if you live in any parts of Western Jersey, you got to pick north or south. There is no. And there sounds like, Gina, tell me, shouldn't there be like an Eastern Jersey?
I mean, it doesn't really exist. Everybody knows North Jersey's over the bridge, and once you come over, it's south, and everything to the left
Like
is
what's
like
connected to the water? What do they call that? The Jersey Shore?
Jersey Shore.
Okay, so it's not really Eastern Jersey, just the Jersey Shore.
Yeah, it's like west. Everything to like, if you're looking at the map to the left, doesn't exist. It's either south or north.
I still get a laugh out of that. All right, so listen, the real pink elephant, right, is we are down one realtor. So there used to be another realtor, right? I gotta know, like we were like down one realtor. Like, for me, it was like there was always U3, and now it's U2, right?
Mhm.
And it flows. Is that the reason that you guys decided because it flows better? Because Gina and Kristina has a better rhyme to it? Can you talk about this?
Like Teresa and Melissa from the Housewives, like we're the most important,
Oh.
You can't have all the cast. You can't have all the housewives on one episode all the time.
Exactly.
Sometimes,
Is that what it is?
That's a good way.
There's
So we're
more popular housewives on the show. Yesterday was actually the season finale of
I didn't
Housewives
watch it
of New
yet.
Jersey. Okay, I won't tell you what happens.
Don't tell
but-
me I fell asleep early.
Okay, well, then I'm the only one that watched it. But
See.
it was perfect timing. Fobby didn't even realize that, I'm sure.
I've never
Yeah,
watched
reunion
I,
coming up.
I have never watched an episode of The Real Housewives of anything.
That's
For you.
I mean,
You're
just
better off.
so we're on the same page, I am like on season 8 of The Walking Dead.
Okay.
Okay. Have you ever watched The Jersey Shore?
No. Other than when I was at the Jersey Shore and I saw the waves rolling in and like very like paranoid of some guy trying to stand behind me to grab my wallet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that what you think of Jersey? Wow.
Well, he was like trying to get behind me for some reason. It was like, dude, there's enough room on this beach.
Wanted to make
here.
sure you weren't gonna fall. That's all.
Oh, that's what it was. Oh, the politeness of these people.
Yeah,
Oh, we are the most polite state in the country. Didn't you know?
Of course, especially the drivers, as you were telling me yesterday.
I was on the phone with Fobby and I'm like, this mother. Oh, hold on, Fobby. And I like couldn't concentrate because I was trying to get over and I was like, sorry, Jersey drivers.
All right. Well, look, since we're not going to talk about the third missing real estate agent, right?
Yeah.
Now, is she missing? Is she MIA? Is this like one of those Tony Soprano moments?
You know what?
They've gone away on vacation.
We all give each other opportunities in this business. Some people give more opportunities than others. And I felt like Gina, Kristina, and I formed a relationship where we're not only doing business together, but we're also we've become friends. And I felt like there was just we were just more in sync with one another and aligning our businesses together. I just felt like we needed something different and we could kind of focus more instead of a billion opinions and things, just getting it from literally the north and the south side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So strategic here.
No
I like this.
shade.
Okay. So your next role will be something in politics, the way you spun that, by the way, Maddie.
I know. I feel so official with this blazer on too.
All right. Well, look, let's talk about what we talk about, guys. Since I'm not going to get any drama out of you guys. You guys are all like real.
We're trying to be professional, Fobby.
Seriously, I mean, it's like a podcast. I know,
No
but
drama.
I got a little bit of drama, right? I mean, look, like JP.
All right, do you guys want to know the real tea? There was an event, right?
Okay, tell me.
And
yes, let's go.
There was an event, and you know what? I'm sorry if anyone hears
Let me
this.
sip
But
what
we're gonna cut this out anyway, but
Kristina and I worked very hard on an event that we put together at the end of the
spent
year.
a lot of money on this event.
It was a networking charity event,
Got
and
music in the back, right? I see this networking event going on. Got music
and like any
playing.
housewife, if you watch the Housewives, all the housewives get invited to the events, whether there's beef with each other, whether or not they like each other. Everyone's always invited to the events, and there was another event held by another Real Realtor, and the rest of us weren't invited, and it felt a little,
whoa.
And it was exactly like ours.
just looked a little
no. Oh wow, you guys I get it now.
And I drove 2 hours to go to their
Gina
event.
came 2 hours
At night.
Here we go.
Loyalty.
She wanted to get it out of us.
Yeah. There it is.
Gina's pointing and Christina's holding her hand.
Yeah, Gina came all the way from Palms River up to Franklin Lakes.
Yeah. No
And
excuse.
2 hours.
Where the Housewives are filmed every season for the most part. Came all the way up to Franklin Lakes. Was a great sport during our event, and
I wouldn't miss it.
the other housewife was not there, or the other realtor was not there.
Was Madison there?
Madison hosted the event with me. Yeah.
I didn't. Yeah, okay. So Madison was there. So she was, and then so the next day or next event held by the missing realtor.
A month later,
shall not be named.
Cringing.
Cringe.
Right? You three were not invited.
Correct.
Wow.
I feel like I'm in like family court. Correct.
I know. I'm like, yes, Judge.
I'm trying to understand all this. So you gotta understand. You know what I mean? At my age, I'm like happy when people don't invite me. It's like, thank God I don't gotta go.
You know what? It wasn't about the invite as much as it was like kind of just copy and pasting the idea behind the event, and then like you didn't support ours, you didn't give us an opportunity to support ours, but you took our whole idea.
This isn't shallow, at least. It's not a shallow anger.
No, and look, I mean, we're not the first ones to put on like a women empowerment networking charity event, so that wasn't.
Christina's got this look like, what the hell? She's like, I thought we're supposed to be talking about a housing market.
Yeah, come on now. Let's just
Listen,
wrap
I
it on.
promised myself in my mid-20s I was gonna stop gossiping, but here I am.
Like, let me hear it.
But here I am being a part of it. But
Listen,
you know what?
Here's the thing, though, Gina. I mean, Kristina, I'll tell you the honest truth. If this was not being recorded and not part of the show, I wouldn't even want to hear it.
Yeah, well, this is what makes it interesting. But you know what? We all just felt like the three of us felt like this was a more genuine group. and we're able to talk about more genuine things and experiences that we have with Madison
Now,
every day.
I want to ask something now. Is Gina on thin ice because she did not wear the blazer like you and Madison are wearing?
No, we all wrote jean jackets in the
Madison
group
said she was
chat.
wearing a jean
I
jacket.
said
I
I was
said, what are you
wearing a
guys
jean
wearing?
jacket.
They go jean jacket.
I would be nervous if I were you. I mean, I feel comfortable. Like, this is my show, so I can't get kicked off, right?
I'm getting nervous.
Right. So if I show with the T-shirt and stuff on, I'm cool, right? But like,
Yeah.
Gina, I mean, I would just like make sure from now
Be
on
aware.
you're in sync. You'd be in sync with these two.
I'm in the gutter.
Do you want me to be
Gina
honest with you
Wild.
guys?
Because
They
eventually what they're
now.
going to say is that Maddie and Kristina just sounded so much better together. You know, like M and K.
Yeah,
Like, you know, you're
soon
like
it's
a
gonna be
Fours
the two of them.
My
Right.
goodness. I think we're worth a little bit more than that, Bobby.
Well, you guys were my top produced episode from last season. Congratulations on that. I love that. That was good stuff.
That's
It's
great.
the number one episode from last season. So let's dive into it, guys, because look, we are in a very, very strange housing market. I can't tell you it. I feel like every podcast episode that I've done in the last 3 weeks, this topic has come up. So I've exhausted this topic, but I have to bring it out, right? So here's a magic number. I don't know if you guys know what this number means, right? And I'm rounding it up. 562,000. Do you know what that number represents? It should mean something to you guys. If you don't know what it means, I'm going to tell you what it means.
The average home size? I don't really know.
No, that was the number of houses listed for sale March 2023 nationwide.
Wow.
Wow.
Yes, 562,565 units on March 2023. 1.2 million real estate agents. So I know that only about 10 of you guys are really working. Because there's no way 1.2 million are going to sell 560,000 units. It just, I mean, mathematically doesn't work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even if I divide that in half and say 600,000 list and 600,000 buy.
Mm-hmm.
So what is this lack of inventory, Gina? I mean, I know we talked about it a little bit before the show, you and I did, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, let's talk about this. Like, this lack of inventory, it's not going away because, as you and I were saying, people have this rate of 3%, 3.5%, 4%, whatever. And like, I'm not selling my house to go move into a house that's got a 6.5% rate. It makes no sense.
Yeah. A lot of people that have the lower rates are like, we'll just make an addition on our home. If they need a bigger house, they're just staying put. And then the people that are first-time home buyers or need to relocate because of jobs, we're 1 against 19. I mean, I had a recent scenario. We submitted an offer over asking, and the listing agent was like, you were the lowest out of 19 offers, so don't even bother. I'm like, okay, don't list it at that price then. You know what I mean? So it's very competitive still with the low inventory.
Yeah, but I mean, Kristina, I mean, you were always in kind of a more investment people, that kind of stuff, right? I remember that about you.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, obviously, you know, low inventory is going to take a toll on everybody.
Yeah, so my situation is a little different than Gina's. There's not a lot of inventory up here, but people are not scared by the rates anymore.
Okay.
And I know Madison and I have a few clients that we're working with that are just willing to get what they get and don't get upset, literally. Waiving inspections, going 150,000 over asking, no oil tank sweep, like no waiving appraisals, like no one cares up here. And I don't know if it's because I'm assuming it's because we're so close to New York and our clients are kind of like Madison. Like, for example, like our one client's from like Englewood, that's like closer to the city. She works in the city or her company's out of the city. So like, I feel like a lot of people just don't care because anything's cheaper than living in New York is kind of what I'm hearing from a lot of my clients. So on the investment side of things, I feel like, and I guess we'll get into that topic, there's a lot of like newbie investors that are like looking to get into the market right now. And I just think that's so interesting because as an investor myself, I'm stepping away. I haven't touched an investment property for the past year. So, and it's not because I'm so scared about the prices. I just know that I'm not comfortable buying something that I know in a normal market is worth much less.
Yeah. So I want to dive into that, Kristina. So hang tight on that. You use the word normal market. I don't remember a normal market right now because you got to remember, like we went from 2020, right, where we did 4 times the volume of a normal market. Right, bounced into 2021, kind of hung over, and all of a sudden the lights came on and the beer ran out, and everyone was like, "Hey, what happened?" It was 2022,
Yeah.
and we slid into 2023. So I don't know. Like I feel like it's kind of like a jet lag, a couple of times over again. Like going to California, come back to DC, come back to Vegas, then going back to DC again.
Recently, yeah, it's definitely felt that way. But I think I told you so in 2017 when I started, it was very much normal to me. That's the only normal. So I guess everyone looks at normal as
that's a great year to talk about because they had good inventory.
Yeah.
You had a good supply. You had reasonable rates.
Yeah.
Right?
And there wasn't 25 offers. You would be lucky to get one offer in 2017 on a house.
Yeah.
So, and I remember 2017, the beginning of 2018, the end of 2018 was a little competitive, but that was my normal.
Okay.
Was I was able to get every single client a house, the first 5 houses I showed them, not every 100 like Gina and I are showing.
Nice.
You know? So that was my normal.
So Madison, let me bounce over to you for a second. I'm going to give you another number. 2009, right? We're going back. How old were you in 2009, Maddie? Riddle me. Amuse me.
27. I'm 27 now. So like 2000, I graduated high school in 2014.
Okay, so you were still bouncing around in high school.
I was in like middle school.
Junior high.
I was 8.
8. Okay. Well, great.
Yeah.
Kristina, you want to chime in and make me feel worse?
Maybe 11.
Cool, thank you. It's a little closer. So
11
2009, there was 4 million units for sale nationwide.
Wow.
Jesus.
Just to give you guys some perspective here, so 4 million units in 2009.
It's nothing.
562,000 units available today in March 2023.
It's crazy.
Just, you know what I'm saying? I mean, like it's so weird just to think about that, Maddie. And then you got the rates bouncing around. Now, Maddie, I know we haven't had a rant in a while, and this is not the moment for the rant because this is a show where you have guests on.
Holding it in.
Right? So hold it in. Hold it in. But how are the rates affecting when somebody says, "Hey, I got my contract approved," you say, "Yeah, but the rate is 7%."
My closing next week is locked in at a 9.375.
Wow.
For a specific, it's for non-QM.
Yeah, non-QM. Yeah.
I think
they're okay with that.
For their financial circumstance, it's that or no house.
Now, did you have to buy a house in Western New Jersey for them?
No, they're in Jersey City. They're very close to
very
close to the city. Multifamily.
Okay, that makes sense. I would do it too.
Yeah. Okay. So, but no one complained about the rate, or do they look at you like you're crazy?
I mean, kind of like coin is two sides. So it was like, well, and here's the thing, but you all know I do a lot of credit repair with my clients. So it's like when you go into the non-QM world, they don't focus so much on the DTI as much as they do the credit score. So the credit score is usually the thing that's determining what interest rate you get for certain programs. Without getting, he's just got certain situations where like he did the most that he could to improve his credit. He has a lot of like authorized users on certain cards that he couldn't remove himself, which is like one of the obvious ways to just do a quick boost. But given his circumstances, he's not allowed to do that. And yeah, he's stuck with it. But I told him that, maybe the people that go into the non-QM space, it's like a lesson learned, in my opinion, of like file your taxes and just do the right thing, and you wouldn't have to kind of go into these spaces all the time.
So 9.375, a couple of years ago, that program was probably like about a 6.5.
Yeah.
If I was guessing, right?
Probably.
Yeah. So I mean, well, let's go back into the prime market, Gina. I mean, if because I know like the rates bouncing around 6.7 to 7% 30-year fixed Fannie Mae, right? Full doc. I mean, does that make your buyers be able to qualify for less, right? Because obviously you qualify more when the rate is 3%, right?
Yeah, a lot of my clients are still putting down a good number, but they're not, if it was a couple months ago, they would have been able to afford the price range you're looking for because they want all these things, but the price range you're looking at, their purchasing power has gone down. I mean, we're waiving inspections down here. We're waiving appraisal, everything, and we're still losing. So people are going even down here, 50, 75 over. We went 20 and we waived everything. That's not enough, 20,000. You have to go at least 40 to 50,000 over asking.
Wow.
Me and Gina have a client that's putting 60% down right now.
60%.
60, like more than half.
They couldn't come up with the other 40?
No, you're
Yeah,
better
we're
off.
almost there. We couldn't do it.
Yeah,
That's the nice thing about being Pakistani. Somehow or another, if you get to 60, the family will help you out the other 40.
the 40, right?
They just kind of
Well, the family's already helping them in order to get to 60. So
All right. So buying power goes down.
Yeah.
Kristina, you're in North Jersey, where I know houses obviously have to be a little bit more because you're closer to New York City, right? In your mind, what's the average sale price in North New Jersey right now? I don't know what it is. So
Honestly, Fobby, it's so. I mean, even comping houses right now, like the appraisers that I speak to are like, I don't really know where to put this. So we're just going to go with,
Wow.
Honestly, it's hard to say. I mean, in some towns that I would never think you'd see $1 million house, we're seeing $1 million houses. So everything's so inflated over here. I couldn't even give you an accurate.
Like, I'm pretty familiar with Edison, New Jersey, for reasons that I can't disclose. But so what is like? Are you familiar with Edison?
I don't really do business that far south. I'm kind of
That's
that's kind of central, dude.
central, but there's no central Jersey.
I don't go there.
So who's representing Edison?
Just give the nastiest look.
Who, me?
We're like, no.
Whatever.
Just let's worry about the Jersey Shore and North
All
Jersey.
right.
Sorry.
Edison's a
No,
relative.
Edison.
How about Newark?
Yes.
Newark is up and coming,
Yeah.
right?
Madison
It's
and
an
I
up and
have,
coming neighborhood, right? Because it was like the worst city to live in for the longest time. Newark.
and now
Jersey
it's up
City.
and coming.
We got a
Right, so-
650 in there.
$650,000.
Yeah.
How big was the house? Like
Not
800 square feet?
No, less than 2,500 square feet.
Oh my God.
And there was foundation issues, so my client just backed out yesterday. So
Are you kidding me? After all of that,
We got
after
a
all
structural
that,
engineer in there and all.
yeah,
$650,000 for a house in Jersey City, right?
No, Newark.
Newark. Okay, Newark, Jersey, and it's about 2,500 square feet, right? Foundational issues, so they'll repair that and they'll put it back on the market for 700.
they can't even repair it. If they I can't really get into details, obviously, but
Sure.
they can't do it. So
Yeah.
it's going to have to go back on the market for a lot less. But someone's going to scoop it up. It just has to be the right price. And
So would that be something that you would talk to one of your investors about?
The numbers wouldn't make sense for them.
Okay.
Honestly.
Got it. All right. So the average sale price in your neighborhoods are about 600, let's say 750. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Right. Madison, you're the loan officer here, right?
I think
What kind of income do you need to qualify for something like that?
Fob. It's like, I was just having. Oh, it's such a hard thing because
Let's say putting 20% down on a $700,000 house, right? 20% is $140,000,
it
right?
depends on their freaking debt, though. That's what kills
Minimal
it.
debt. Let's say they got a $300 car payment and a couple $100 for credit card. Really good borrower that you normally don't get, right?
Probably $100,000.
Like $100,000 to $120,000.
Yeah, comfortably if it's one person
Jesus.
or like at least two people making.
So, does anybody know what the average income in New Jersey is?
Like 150 combined.
Kristina is from like a whole different ballgame. She's
No
talking
way.
about like
Yeah, the average income in Jersey is about $72,000.
Well, I said combined or
No, the average household income. The average household.
72,000.
Yeah.
God forbid.
Just I'm giving you guys some numbers here, right? That we're looking up as we're doing the show.
That's
Wow,
horrible.
70,000.
So that's what I'm trying. And by the way,
Inflation.
Kristina, this is the topic we're having with everybody that comes on this podcast. We're going through the same exercise over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And so the number one thing that comes to mind is that's why people are relocating outside of these northeastern states, right? And if they can go to live in Boise, Idaho, or
Kentucky's becoming a new one.
Kentucky, $140,000 houses.
Wow.
Right?
No.
Brand new.
Brand new $140,000 houses, right? So now all of a sudden, if you're willing to put down $140,000, $120,000 or 140, 20% down on $700,000, you just paid cash for that same house in Kentucky.
Yeah.
And as long as you got good internet, you can work. Now, obviously, that's for white collar jobs. It's not for like if you're working at a restaurant or if you have to drive a bus. So it is definitely a select segment of the citizens that can do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this is what we're talking about, guys. Is DC, where I live, right, is notorious. Like my daughter, who was a student counselor at a local high school, can't afford to buy a house in the neighborhood she grew up in.
Mm-hmm.
That's
unless
happening here.
I co-sign for her, right, and then she can buy it. Other than that, there's no way she can move back into the neighborhood.
Nope.
And so the affordability factor. I mean, as real estate agents, I mean, what do you guys? I mean, I don't know if you guys know the answer to this. I'm just going to throw it out there, right? I'm asking people, what do you think the solution is, guys? All three of you guys combined. Huddle
Make
up and come back.
money.
I was going to say, get another job.
Get another job. Okay, I like that. Okay. Second jobs would definitely help, right?
Yeah, a lot of people have it. You can't live anymore on one income. You know what I mean? A lot of stay-home moms are getting jobs.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard on a lot of people. It's sad.
Here's one thing that I was talking about yesterday, and I'll ask you guys your opinion on this. But in my opinion, especially in New Jersey, so just as much as the housing prices are inflated right now, rent is completely inflated.
Yeah, good point.
I feel as though, especially in our generation, when, you know, it used to be like you go to college for 4 years, you graduate, and you move out. There's a lot more people living home, but even living home isn't really helping them or sustaining them to be able to go out there and afford a house, because they're still either going to pay a $2,200 to $3,000 rent payment. At that point, unless you're living with another person or you have a roommate, you're never going to save. And then a lot of people that had the mentality of, I'm going to school for 4 years and I'm going to move out, they're living, in my opinion, beyond their means, because they won't settle for just like an apartment that actually is affordable for them. So they'll pay the $2,000, the $3,000, the $4,000 for these rooftop penthouse apartments in these luxury places. But once you do that, how are you saving?
You're putting me on the spot right now. Oh, I'm kidding.
Kristina, you make more money than than God, okay? No, I'm kidding. But like, you make more money than like 90% of the people your age. So you're in a different
renting. I was looking at rentals yesterday, guys, and it is ridiculous. I took my friend who I went to college with. Mind you, I dropped out of school to pursue my real estate career. But while I was in school, I made a lot of connections, and I ended up selling those people a lot of houses. However, this one specific guy, he calls me up. He's like, listen, I just got a job in the city. I said, great. I said, how much money you have? He goes, I have like $90,000 saved. I'm like, okay. So I said, so do you want to use that to buy, or what are you going to do? He's like, I need to rent. He goes, my credit's shot. I have too many student loans. And he goes, my new job only paying me $43,000 a year.
What?
In New York?
Years of college in New York, making $43,000 a year.
That's
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. So the point being, guys, is affordability is going to be a problem no matter what happens to the inventory.
Yeah.
You see the connection we're getting at now? Because it's like, even if there was 1 million houses or 2 million houses,
who's affording them?
Right.
Realistically affording them, because I often feel as though, unfortunately, like, I look at a lot of loan scenarios sometimes and I'm like, yeah, you qualify, but do you really want to do this? Or like, God forbid something breaks. I just had one of my clients right now, we're trying to figure out why like her income is so skewed, because like every week she's working different hours, and she's like, my son has like health medical issues, and we're like driving him up and like back and forth to Delaware. But it's like, yeah, like things like that happen. A kid needs braces, someone, breaks just like how many crazy things happen, right? Like we never thought COVID would happen. So you need emergency money. And when you're like maximizing your lifestyle right now and then expecting to like, again, put the minimal down just to like say that you own a home, it's like, that's not even a flex, because you're just really putting yourself in.
Yeah, I mean, when I was a loan officer, I used to tell these borrowers that were like maxing out their limits on the house. I was like, look, imagine coming home and your kid says you want to get a Domino's pizza for the night, and you got to think about spending $20.
Yeah,
that's how real that shit gets. And I said, if you got to think about spending $20, don't do this to yourself. You were gonna say something?
Yeah, I was saying a lot of people live like that. They don't even know where their the food's going to come from, because they're living like paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah. Well, there was another number that I heard yesterday, and I didn't verify this one yet like I normally do, but I heard there was about $16 trillion worth of credit card debt nationwide right now.
And normally they were saying that this is the time when most people start to pay off their debt because they come into their refund and no one's
Yeah.
paying it off. That refund money is going with the emergencies or
Yeah.
the down payments on a home.
Yeah. So I mean, I think there's some opportunities here, but I think overall we're probably looking at about a 2-year before we get any kind of real relief in the housing market. So I'm glad that I'm not a full-time real estate agent having to show these houses, just for the record, because Kristina and Gina, you guys got a tough job right now, right? When a client says to you, Kristina, I want to see this kind of house. I mean, I know you guys are asking for the pre-approvals, right? Got that, right?
From me,
if they don't have the pre-approval, what is the response?
So we actually just went through this morning, me and Madison and I. I will not show a house unless I see that pre-approval letter. And like, I'll give you a great example, and it's not about one of our clients, so I can freely speak about it. I do have a client right now who sent me their pre-approval letter on Monday, and they're pre-approved for a 2-family up to $850,000. I know in those areas that they're looking, they go over, and they're sending me things that are $850 or $825, and I'm like, guys, you can't do that. You are going to be maxing yourself out. And the kicker is, they don't even want to live in it; they just want to rent it out.
Wow.
So it's kind of like, and they want to put the least amount of money down. They only want to do 5%. And I'm like, you're not really maximizing on your investment if you're not really investing in it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sure does.
Give some to get some. And that's kind of like the motto that I live by, especially since I'm an investor myself. If I know that I can only put 5% down on a project, I'm not going to do it, because I know at the end of the day, it's going to cost me more money than it is going to put money in my pocket.
Yeah.
So I'm very real with my clients, and I'm like, listen, this is what it is. If you feel like you have to wait it out. And there are some clients who have been waiting since the rates were 3.25. So
wow.
It's definitely not going to work now.
Wow.
So, but I'm very real with them. I'm like, listen, you're asking for a unicorn, and there's no such thing as unicorn. So it's either you're going to wait or you're going to keep, wanting a unicorn and it's not there. So
that's my pet peeve, when they send things, their budget's like $450 and they're sending like $475. Oh, you think we can? No, you're not getting a deal anymore.
So Gina, but how do you like let's say I come to you, right, and I'm qualified for $450, right?
Yeah.
And I see this house, I'm like, Gina, can't we just, like, it's only $25,000 more. It's only $25,000. It's not that big of a number.
It only depends. If it just went on the market, I'll tell them, listen, this just went up. There's probably a lot of activity. Let me touch base with the realtor. If it's been up for like 50 days, which is rare, then maybe there's a negotiation room. But if it just went up and it's a hot area, I'll say, listen, guys, all the comps around here are showing that they go close to 5. So, I think it's just, I don't want you guys to get your hopes up. I always say that, like, in there, I feel bad for them. Like, I don't want them to get discouraged. So I tell them, I don't think it's in your best interest to go see this.
Has anybody ever left you guys for a different real estate agent that lied to them?
Yeah, and then they come back.
Right? I mean, because I could see like a realtor saying, oh yeah, Fob, you qualify for $480,000 with my guy, right? And then they run me through the ringer.
They shop around still, though. They always want to know, like, oh, am I getting the right, realtor? I mean, some people say to me as a buyer's agent, they're like, oh, I have to pay you? I'm like, no. It's like, some people don't know. They're not educated enough where that's why they do shop around.
Yeah. You just reminded me of your story with the gas guy, though, who drove you around for like 1,000 miles and never bought a house from you.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking that when you said that, I was like, those fuckers in my head. I still can't believe that. Like that. That was my first horror story. And that's when I first got started. So I had nothing.
So speaking of horror stories, guys, I mean, we'll start off with Kristina, because I think, she's always got some fun horror stories, right? I mean, I hate to say this because it feels like such a weird market, but are there still horror stories in this market?
Oh, yeah. Every day is a horror. I hate waking up. What time did the Housewives go on last night? 8 o'clock? I was sleeping before then, because I'd rather be with my eyes closed than having to answer my phone at 9:30 at night.
Good for you.
Looking for a unicorn. But I could give you a horror story that I have. So I have my friend's mom looking for a house right now, and I helped them buy a house. So now the mom's looking, and we were under contract on something. And let's talk about new realtors getting into the real estate market right now. Awful idea. Go get a 9-to-5 job. Go work at the bank. I don't know. Go work at Starbucks. Go work somewhere else. Because if you don't have experience, I don't know. I don't care what kind of Tom Ferry program you're going to buy. You're not navigating this market the right way. So you have to have some skin in the game, you know? Anyway, we're under contract on this property. I'm dealing with a new realtor, and he had no idea that the property had a septic system. Zero.
Oh my
So
God.
when we did our home inspection, mind you, there was 35 offers on this house. 35. We got the house, okay? 55,000 over asking. Had no idea this property had a septic. So when I gave him the septic report and I said the septic failed, he goes, "What's a septic?"
That's embarrassing.
I went through that recently, but I'm not a realtor, so
Yeah, that's different.
Client, he told the seller, "Oh, you're not responsible to fix that. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do this." Well, guess what? The house is still on the market till this day, and this was 2 months ago.
Oh
Wow.
my God.
Do you guys have a lot of septic in North Jersey? I wouldn't think.
In like Sussex, some
here's
parts of
the
the county. Yeah.
everyone's moving to those areas though, and so one of my new offices that I work out of sometimes, a lot of them are from there and like still live there, like grew up there and whatever, and they're pretty much saying like these houses were designed to be summer rentals. They're not to be like they're not designed to be lived in 365 days in the year, and then people are paying 500,000-600,000 more. I was at an open house a couple weeks ago for one that would normally in this area probably go for no more than 250. It was going for 550, and there were 72 people that showed up on the second day of the open houses.
Jesus.
This is like that's the reality of some of the areas and some of the things that like are happening. And again, it's not just probably Jersey, but it's like with the high prices, higher rates, like areas that people are looking in where you're just like, are you mentally okay? Are we mentally okay for doing this?
Gina, are you mentally okay? Gina, are you mentally okay?
No, not today.
We only ask because we care.
Thank you. I'm not on the burner anymore because I'm not wearing a
She's
blazer.
killing it. She has like 8 things under contract.
Wow, awesome. See?
She's killing it.
2 with me.
Yeah.
So hold on, let me ask you a question now. When you have 8 contracts, 8 under contract, right? On the buyer side, right?
10.
10.
Jesus,
right?
I used to shoot myself. I can't do that anymore.
I was literally up yesterday I went to the gym at 6:20. I didn't go to bed till like 11:30. So I'm like I'm like running on a hamster wheel. But I love it. Like
well, 12 hours ago, I was woken up by my dog throwing up. So hands down, you know what I mean? That's not cool. Like, all I heard is, I was like, oh no, not in the bedroom, not in my bedroom.
Yeah.
So yeah, hamster wheel, no hamster wheel, you know. But back to you, Gina, because this is about you, not about me and my dog.
Okay.
Horror story are there any horror stories before these 10 contracts that?
Yeah, the one that just closed. So I was working with these clients since October. We put their house up, and obviously it wasn't really a good time during the holidays, so it took a little longer than usual, but we did some. We took it off, put it back on. So we were almost there, and they were purchasing another house as well. So obviously it's a domino effect when something happens with their sale. So obviously we did appraisal, everything back came okay. The inspections, you know, we're there the day of closing, and I get a call from the realtor saying that the buyer cannot get the mortgage anymore because they found some things, which to me was a horror story because we were closing on their purchase the next day. So within that 24 hours, I was able to find another buyer, and thank God we were able to close in 2 weeks, and they gave us more time. So
why do some realtors say, okay, guys, I'm going to just, because we were talking about this the other day, right? Realtors will say, Madison, ready for this?
I'm like, no, God.
In 18 years, I've never had a deal get delayed like this before.
I hate when they put their years into it.
Right? It's like, dude, come on. 18. If you sold one house per year, I could believe that. Right? Yeah. But if you're selling like 20, 30 houses per year, even 14, 15, 18 years, you're going to have delays.
That
Something's going
person
to
that says
happen.
that is still using a fax machine to send their offers. I don't want to hear it.
Right? I mean, is there a school where they teach you guys these lines on how to make a loan officer feel bad?
No.
No.
No, those are just people who don't sell and they just
Exactly.
Madison, have you been told this before by anybody? Like, I can't believe this. In all my years as a real estate agent, I've never seen a loan officer do X.
Well, right now, the deal that I'm supposed to close next week, the seller's agent has been texting the buyer's agent who I'm working with every single day. Like, we're like, what is this guy not sold a freaking house in like 3 years? Like, are we updated? And right now, the only reason we aren't closing is because we're waiting on documents from the seller. Because the seller decided that he wants to use one name on certain documents and another name on other documents. And they're like, oh, one's his nickname. And we're like, that doesn't fly on legally binding documents that we need you to sign. And it's all under an LLC that we're like, so it's like, we're just trying to figure out like who has the authority to sign on behalf, but then you have 3 freaking names. So the seller and the realtor texted me this morning and was like, hey, any update? Like, I'm sorry. Like and I'm like, please send me his number. And I was like, do you guys not communicate? Because like you're communicating with the buyer's side on everything, but all that we're waiting on is stuff from the sellers. And as the seller's agent, I would assume that you would know that this is what we're waiting for. Yeah. And that's the end of my rant because this is not
Maddie, right at the end, your right eyebrow went up. Right.
So Fobby realized this thing when I get serious. I can't do it normally unless I'm literally like on my eyebrow. Yeah.
Is your microphone working this time, by the way, or is this a fake mic?
Testing.
All right. You can stay on the podcast. She fessed up on the last episode, guys, that her microphone was just a decorative piece, just to kind of.
I remember half my episodes.
So one of the realtors always says to me, "How come you're just finding out now? Like, why couldn't you have known all this X, Y, and Z the first day you took the loan application?"
That's a great freaking question.
Because sometimes title comes back with certain things too.
Thank you.
Or that doesn't show up on credit.
Like sometimes the guy gives you a bank statement that you've been asking for 3 weeks, and they finally give you the bank statement. It's got 2 deposits that are unsourced funds.
Yeah.
Or when you find out about child support or alimony because they don't disclose certain pages of the divorce decree. Yeah.
Right. All sorts of stuff happens during the process of a file. So all my real estate friends, please understand, we would love to know everything on day one. It would make my job, Madison, it would make your job easier, right? Like everything. But sometimes we just don't. Even the perfect borrower can have some, you know what I mean, some shiggity there. So guys, woo,
shiggity. What the heck?
Wait, that's a DC word.
Shiggity. I've never heard that in my whole life.
That's because you grew up in Jersey, so you've been deprived.
Go to DC.
We just swear over here.
We're gonna take Jersey girls are gonna take a road trip down to Washington DC.
We should do that. We should do a next episode down here in the conference room to have you guys
people
down.
People would look at us and be like, "Where do they come from?"
You guys think you're the first people from Jersey in DC? Seriously, we've kicked a lot of you guys back out of DC. Trust me, you guys won't be the first ones that would get kicked out of DC. All right, guys, we are coming to the end of the show. This has been fun for me. This is probably not as inflated as the other episodes are because I think we are in a different market than we have been on the other 3 episodes, whatever that is. You know what I mean? But I always appreciate your all's insights because you guys are coming straight from the field, and I think that's valuable to exchange that knowledge because you guys are out there fighting the good war right now. And that's a huge a vehement effort right now, and so kudos to you guys to keep it up. And Kristina, do not fall asleep before the show ends. Stay awake. Gina, you're welcome to the north side anytime you want to come up. Maddie,
how
about if you take us out of here and say your goodbyes?
All right, what do you say again? JP, wrap it up. I got
45.
Looks like Tom Duncan.
Sounds like. Must be a duck.
Jersey girls are the best.
Yeah.
What?
The bunny ears are back.